Hey Pash Fam, in this tutorial we'll be talking about how to use your Passion Planner digital files in the app GoodNotes. Now we do have a similar tutorial to this, but that only covered how to use the GoodNotes toolbar, and this tutorial will be a little bit more comprehensive. We'll be covering how to navigate GoodNotes, how to use the tools within GoodNotes. We'll talk about adding our Passion Planner digital stickers and inserts into GoodNotes, and lastly, we'll talk about adding planner pages in GoodNotes. So today we will be using an iPad Pro and the app GoodNotes, which is available on iOS. So if you go ahead and go to your app store and search GoodNotes, you would pay a one-time fee for you to start using it. Now, if you haven't yet imported your planner and your stickers into GoodNotes, I would first watch our video how to import your digital files tutorial, which you can find either on our IGTV page or our YouTube channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about navigating GoodNotes. So when you open up GoodNotes, you will see this, and this is your GoodNotes library. This is where you will import all of your documents and see them here. Now you can see I've actually added folders. I like to do this to kind of organize all of my different planners and stickers. And to do that, you would click on this plus symbol, click folder. You can also favorite folders, and then you would find them here in your favorites tab. Now if you click on this arrow below each thumbnail, there's a couple different options for you to choose from. You also need to know that here in the top right corner in your GoodNotes library, this little gear icon is your settings. So you can click on settings here. What's also important to note, this is where you'll find your trash bin, just in case you happen to delete any of your planners or any of the pages in your planners, which I'll talk about why that's really important to note later. And you'll find them here where you can recover them. So let's go ahead and open up our planner. Now you'll notice that each time you open up a different document, it will appear as different tabs up here, so you can easily switch from your sticker book to your planner to maybe your weekly planner. And if you ever need to go back to your GoodNotes library, you'll click this little icon in the top left corner. Now, some general navigation tips to move your planner around. You would just use your finger and drag it around the page. And if you want to zoom in and out, you would expand two fingers on the screen to zoom in and pinch them together to zoom out. Next, let's talk about scrolling directions. So if I swipe left or right, you'll notice that my scrolling direction is set to horizontal. So I can flip through individual pages like this, but let's say you wanted to change that. You would click on these three dots here, click scrolling direction, and you could also choose vertical if you wanted, and you would just swipe up and down to flip through your pages, and it would be one seamless page, but I prefer to open it kind of like a book, so I want it to be horizontal. Okay, so next let's talk about hyperlinks. So this is probably one of the most common questions that we'll get. I opened up my planner, but my hyperlinks don't seem to be working. Okay, so before you use your hyperlinks, you need to know that there are two different modes in GoodNotes. There is your edit mode, which is when you can actually edit the document. This is when you can use all of your tools. And then there's your read-only mode. So when I'm in edit mode, I'll see this toolbar here, and you'll see in the top right corner, there's this pencil with a line struck through it, and it's white. You would tap on this icon to get into read-only mode, and it'll turn blue. There's a circle now around the pencil, and you'll notice that our toolbar disappeared. This is the mode that you need to be in to use the hyperlinks. So now you'll notice that my hyperlinks do work. So again, edit mode is on. If I try tapping, it will just use the actual tools. Need to turn on read-only mode. There are exceptions to this. So let's say I'm in edit mode and maybe I don't want to have to clicking on this icon here. You can actually use either your text tool or your lasso tool. If you have the lasso tool selected, and let's say I hold down on a hyperlink, this will pop up and you can actually open the links that way as well. But let's go back. Okay, let's talk about thumbnail view. So flipping through individual pages in your planner, or even just clicking the hyperlinks, isn't the best option for looking through all of the pages in your planner. So if you click on this icon in the top left corner here, this will open up your thumbnail view. So over here you can see all the pages in your planner as individual thumbnails. So the one that I'm currently on will be highlighted in blue, and I could easily just tap on a different thumbnail to go directly to that page. Let's go back into thumbnail view though. Okay, so underneath each thumbnail, you'll notice this little arrow here. So if you click on it, there are a couple of different options for you to choose from. Open in a new window is something good to note, because this makes it so that you can open your planner in 2 different windows. So one planner, 2 different windows. And you might be wondering, why would I ever need to do that? Well, let's say I'm in my daily layout here, but I have stickers saved in the back of my planner that I want to copy and paste from. So I could turn on navigation mode, go to the back of my stickers, flip through my pages here. Let's say I want this sticky note, copy it, go back to that page and paste it. Or instead, let's go back to thumbnail view. If I have this page open, I'd go down to my other page that I want open in a different window. And then I'd click that arrow, click open in new window. Now let's close that. I have the same daily planner open in 2 different windows. And from here, whenever you're in split view mode, in GoodNotes, you can drag and drop, which is essentially copying and pasting, but taking out a couple steps. So with my Lasso tool selected, I could just circle a sticker, long press, and drag it straight into my planner. So you'd close this by dragging on this bar here. Okay, going back into thumbnail view, next tab here is your favorites tab. This really comes in handy, especially with the undated planners. If you haven't labeled these tabs, it can be hard to find where you are currently in your planner. So I really like to favorites or bookmark my page by clicking on this icon either here or in thumbnail view. You'll notice there's this flag icon on top of each thumbnail. And you'd find all of your favorited pages underneath the favorites icon here. Okay, next up is your outlines tab. Now this is really, I feel like, an underrated feature of GoodNotes. So let's go back to your thumbnail view. Let's say that I added a page into my planner and I wanted to be able to easily find it later. So underneath each thumbnail, let's click again on this little arrow. I can add a page to an outline and I title it. And once I do that, it will appear here in my outlines. Now, I mainly use this for stickers. Say I want to find all of my washi stickers or all of my plant stickers, I would find them in my outline here. Okay, last for navigation, you have this search function here. So if you click on this magnifying glass, you can actually search through GoodNotes, and technically it searches your handwriting and typed text that you use with the text tool. But you should know that handwriting, like searching through handwriting, isn't always reliable, just because, you know, we all write differently and sometimes we write really small or, you know, kind of messy. So I rely on this more for typed text. So let's say I'm going to type something really quickly. So let's say if I were to type something, just absolute nonsense, and if I wanted to search that later, and this can really come in handy. Let's say if you have like handwritten notes, see, it appears here. Say that you have notes from class or notes from, you know, a work meeting or something, and you put them randomly in one of these space of infinite possibilities and you want to find it later and it's typed, you could easily use the search function here. Now, it also searches through your outlines. So let's say I was looking for my washi stickers. I could easily find it there. Okay, now is the fun part. Let's talk about the different tools within GoodNotes. All right, so we're looking here at the toolbar, and the first tool that you see is your zoom window. So tap on this, and what this does is this magnifies anything that's in this blue rectangle down here. So I can move this around, oops, and see, I can actually zoom in here at this top half too if I wanted to, and then I could drag this corner to expand or make this smaller, and that's basically zooming, either zooming out more or zooming in more. Now I use this a lot because If you have an iPad, you'll know that it can be difficult, especially if you don't have a matte screen protector, it can be difficult to write just because it's really slippery. So the more zoomed in I am to a page, the more control I have over it. So let me show you really quickly. Let's say that I'm writing. If you'll notice, once you get to the middle of the page here, this blue rectangle appears. Now what this is a continuation of this line that I'm writing on. And so I can keep writing. And this really comes in handy because let's say I don't have the zoom window open. If I'm just zoomed in here, oops. Okay, so let's say I don't have the zoom window open. I would have to keep moving my page over and over. But with that feature with the zoom window, I would not have to do that. I would just, let me show you. It moves it along for you. Okay, and then you would exit the zoom window by clicking on this X here. Okay, I'm going to erase this and let's move on to the pen tool. So this tool right here, if you actually tap on these tools twice, you get a couple more settings. So you have 3 pen styles to choose from in GoodNotes. You have your fountain pen, and this is actually pressure sensitive, meaning that the harder I press down onto my screen, the thicker the line will be, and the lighter I press, the thinner it will be. So thick, thin, thick, thin. And with the fountain pen, you can actually also change the tip sharpness and the pressure sensitivity. Moving on, I'm going to skip the ball pen for a second and move to the brush pen because this is also pressure sensitive, meaning, again, the thicker I press down, thinner, thick, thinner, thick. This is mainly used, or can be used, for more decorative writing, especially calligraphy writing. But I mainly use the ball pen here because this is a monoline, meaning no matter how hard or lightly I press, it's all going to be the same line width. Okay, now if you notice over here, you have 3 different colors that pop up and 3 different widths. So you can choose different colors for your pen here. Let's tap on this. And let's say I want to add a color. These are all of my added colors. You'd click over here on custom and you can either choose from the table here, you can add a hex code. Or if you click on this wheel, you can actually pick an even more precise color by dragging this around and choosing a shade over here. And then I would just click add to presets. And these 3 colors just represent just easily accessible pen colors for you to choose from. And then over here, you can choose your pen width. So again, you can have like 3 preset pen widths. So if you tap on it twice, I can actually drag the slider around to make it smaller or thicker. Next up, we have our eraser tool. So I'm going to tap on this twice. And let's say I wanted to erase this entire page, but I didn't want to just use the eraser tool. A quicker way would be tapping on this and then clicking clear page. Another setting we have down here, so the default setting is to erase the entire stroke, meaning let's say this is 1 stroke, right? I didn't take my pen off of the screen. So if I use the eraser tool and if I just go over a little part of this stroke, it will erase the entire thing. So you could actually turn that off if you wanted to erase a little bit more precisely, and it will only erase the parts that I actually go over. This next setting is helpful to know because say I wanted to change these highlighter colors here, or I didn't want them, but if I try to erase them, it will also erase the handwriting on top of it. So if I actually choose erase highlighter only, now it will only erase the highlighter. Okay, and you'll notice there's 3 preset eraser widths here, or sizes, and it looks like those are the only sizes, but actually, see how this is the small? If I actually zoom in more, the small actually gets smaller. So you can be a little bit more precise again there. right, next up we have the highlighter tool. This functions, or the settings are very similar to the pens, just in that you have this contextual menu pop up again with 3 different colors for you to choose from. It is helpful to note though that if you add colors here or in the pen setting, they're 2 separate pen presets and highlighter preset colors. So again, you could add colors, by tapping twice, clicking custom, and choosing from here. You could change the preset or the easily accessible ones by tapping twice and choosing a color, and then you have different widths over here that you can actually change. Next up we have our shapes tool. So this actually to the right here, these are the same pen settings. So I can draw different shapes. Let's say I try to draw a triangle. Let's try a little harder. GoodNotes will automatically figure out what I'm trying to draw, and it will create that shape for me. So I can create triangles, I can create squares, circles. I can create straight lines, which is really helpful. But you can also, without even clicking on the shapes tool, if you're in your pen or your highlighter, if I draw with my pen a circle, and if I hold down at the end, it will automatically create a shape for me. So hold down, shape. You can also, let's go back to the shapes tool. You can also turn this on, fill color, and now when I draw a shape, it will actually fill up with a translucent version of the color pen I'm using. Okay, next up, the lasso tool. This is really important actually, because it does so many different things. So with the lasso tool selected, this is how you select different elements in your planner. So let's say I wanted to move this handwriting here, I would draw a circle around it. And then now whatever's within that blue circle is selected, so I can just drag it around here. I can tap on it, and there's a bunch of different settings here. You could, let's see, you could change the color here. You could resize it, drag on these little arrows diagonally, or I can rotate it by dragging it that way too. And then you can also cut, copy, or delete. And then let's say I copy this. To paste, you would just long press with your lasso tool and then click paste. What's cool about GoodNotes is you can also select handwriting and images and text boxes actually. So I can select this, and let's say I want to make this whole thing smaller. I could tap, click resize, and drag it like so. The take screenshot feature, so with the lasso tool selected, if I just draw some sort of shape here, it'll automatically create a rectangle for me. If I tap on it and I click take screenshot, I can actually copy this and then paste. And it's basically just taking a screenshot of that particular selection. Okay, this is a fun one. So this is a new feature of GoodNotes. If you don't have this yet, you need to update your GoodNotes. So if I tap on it, this is the element tool. So basically you can save some preset elements, and that can be handwriting, that can be images, that can be text, all within this tool. So let me show you. Over here to your right, these are just my recently used elements, but I'm going to tap on my screen and you'll see these are ones that I've created, but GoodNotes comes with these different elements. So you can have sticky notes, there are mind map shapes, there are different stickers. These are actually pretty cool. So if I tap on it, I can use these here, but I really love to use this for saving a bunch of my elements. So if I tap again, let me show you really quickly. So for example, I have a moods element kind of category, and this is actually from my self-care sticker book. But let's say I don't want to keep going back and forth between my sticker books. I would just use my lasso tool, and then I would select the sticker and I'll tap on it and I'd click add element, and then I would click moods to add it to that category. And then that way, let's say Let's pretend that's not there. I'm gonna go into elements. I like to put my mood stickers here. And then I could just place them like so. So again, Lasso Tool, let's say I want to save this insert. Add element. I could add it to a collection or start a new collection. Create, and I would easily find it in my elements. You can also, let me show you. Over here, this will split screen your elements with your planner. So then I would just long press and drag and drop these straight into my planner. And I'm gonna exit that for now. Oh, and you can change the different categories down here. All right, next up we have your photo tool. So over here, you'll notice that you can actually take a photo straight from the camera on your device. Or over here, these are just the your recent photos in your Photos app. But if I tap on the screen, you can also choose photos. These are from my Photos app. You can choose them from different albums. You could insert from, let's say, your iCloud drive or your downloads. But let me show you. This is also good to know. So when you have the photo tool selected, let's say if I want to select this photo, I could just tap on it. And that's good to know because let's say that you have stickers layered over each other or photos. If I use my lasso tool to select this, it's also going to select the image behind it. So if I use my photo tool, I could just tap on this image and select that one specifically. Now the photo tool is also important to know about because if you tap on this image and tap on it again, this is actually where you would crop your photos. And that's handy to know because a lot of us will instinctively think that you use the lasso tool, but nope, it is your photo tool. So I could crop rectangularly, or I have the option to crop freehand. All right, next up we have your text tool here. So you'll see this menu over here. This is where you can choose your different font types, the size of your font. You can choose the alignment here. This is important to note. This is your line spacing, and let me show you. Okay, see how it fits like perfectly between these lines? If you want to achieve that, you would play around with the line height here. Okay, next you can also choose different colors. Now you can't save preset colors, preset custom colors at least, for your pen tool or for your text tool. So a little workaround is you can use your lasso tool, select this text, select color, and then you can see and choose from all the different pen colors that you've saved. There are a couple different options. You can actually create, let me click on this. I can choose a background color. I can choose a border color. And then over here, this is to save your font settings as default. So at this time, you can only save one font setting. So you would have to manually change the font settings each time you want to use a different setting. But there is a workaround that if you watch our reels, we do have a hack for that. The last kind of tool is the undo button. So if you click over here, this is to undo your last action, and then to redo, you would just click on this arrow. And that covers the tools in GoodNotes. So moving along, let's talk about adding our stickers and our inserts into GoodNotes. Now, this again is under the assumption that you've already imported your Passion Planner digital stickers into GoodNotes. So I'm going to open up your Ready, Set, Grow sticker book, because that is the one that comes with every digital purchase at the moment. So let's say I wanted to add these stickers into my layout here. What I could do is I could use my lasso tool, select a sticker, and then I would just tap on it, select copy. Let's go back to that page. And then I would long press and click paste. So I could paste it into my planner here. I can move it around. I could resize it by dragging on this corner here. or I could rotate it. And that's one way to add stickers into my planner, but I really prefer using the split screen method. So if I long press on this tab here, my stickers tab, it'll pop out like this once I drag it, and I'll drag it to the side of my screen until it looks like this, and then I'll drop it. And then now I'll use my lasso tool like we did earlier in the video, and then I will select a sticker, long press, so it pops out like this. You'll see this green plus symbol, and then drop it. Now, if you try to do that and it looks, like this, that means that you're just not pressing down first. Make sure you press down so it pops out, and then move it. Okay, and that is how to add our digital stickers. Let me actually open up our inserts, because if you purchase any of our digital bundles, it actually came with our Passion Planner inserts, which are essentially stickers too, but it would be the same process. Let's say I wanted to add this habit tracker. I could use the lasso tool to select it, circling it, copy, and long press into my planner, and clicking paste. Or I'm going to long press on this tab, drag it over here, and then I would select it, long press and drag and drop it straight into my planner. And that is how to add our stickers and inserts into your planner in GoodNotes. So lastly, let's talk about adding pages, because this is probably one of the most fun parts of digital planning, honestly, because you can add an endless amount of pages, whether that's our blank pages, whether that's duplicates of our weekly layouts or daily layouts. So let's get into that. First off, actually, let me say that you can add pages into your planner, but we do not recommend deleting any of the original pages in your planner, as this can cause the hyperlinks to no longer work. So again, if you accidentally do that, I would go back to your GoodNotes library, click on the settings here, and then go to trash bin. So let's add planner pages. Now I'm going to navigate to the back of my planner. I'm going to click on this to turn on read-only mode, because if you notice down here, you have a blank page, a dot page, and a grid page that your planner comes with. And you can actually duplicate these, and this is essentially how you're adding pages. So let's say I wanted to add another grid page. An easy way to do that, if I'm just adding it back here, I would click on this plus symbol, and then I would click on current template. Super simple. Let's go to that daily layout. Say I wanted to copy this Sunday daily layout. I would click on that plus symbol, click current template. Another way to do this, let's say though I wanted to add a grid page after this daily layout. I go to my grid page. One way to do it, click on these three dots, click copy page, navigate back to that layout, click on this plus symbol, and then click paste page. Another way to do that though, if I go into thumbnail view, go into my thumbnails tab here. If I want to duplicate that grid page again, click on this arrow here, and I could click duplicate. And then you could also move the pages around. If I long press on a thumbnail, it'll pop out like that, and I can move it around. Now, if you want to delete any of the added pages, then you would click on this little arrow and then click move to trash. And a little hack to know which are your original pages, just know that the hyperlinks will always go to the original pages. They won't go to any of the duplicated pages. I even have in the past, I've bookmarked the original pages, just because it actually has happened to me, because I add a ton of blank pages in my planner for notes and brain dumping, and then I'll move them around and I'll forget which is the original. So it's really good to note, do not delete any of the original pages in your planner. And that covers how to use our Passion Planner digital files in the app GoodNotes. So if you have any more technical sort of questions, we do recommend that you go to the GoodNotes Support Page. They're pretty responsive, and you can find answers to your questions there. If you have any hacks that you want to share, feel free to leave them in a comment below.